For you are on a good course when you confess to me, when you confess to yourself every stirring of the heart. But do not call any emotion petty, any emotion unworthy. Every one is good, very good, even hatred, even envy, even jealousy, even cruelty. All we live on are our poor, lovely, glorious feelings. And each one we wrong is a star we have extinguished. So, for those of you who don't know who Hermann Hesse is or was, he is no longer with us. He was a fairly prolific author from Germany near the Black Forest who wrote mostly about sort of ecstatic feeling, destiny, very romantic themes in nearly all of his novels. And I believe all of that came from his own personal inner state, like probably many novelists write from their own life. But I thought that that was a nice little passage. And for the main character, Klingsor, when he says you are on a good course when you confess to yourself every stirring of the heart. So the stirrings of the heart, right? The heart is not static. The heart is not only in a state of love, or only in a state of hatred, or only in a state of loneliness, or only in a state of bliss, right? The heart feels the gamut of emotions that we are humanly capable of feeling. Even a saint, I would imagine, gets angry at times, and even the worst despicable criminal probably has feelings of love and bliss and joy. I would imagine. I would imagine also that, based on, this is my own 2 cents, based on how your life is structured, perhaps it's more conducive to certain emotions. But I'm not going to get into that in this video. Let's just focus on the text and get back to it. So, when you confess, you're on a good course when you confess every stirring of the heart. So that means that you are actually recognizing what's going on in your heart. You recognize whether or not you actually do feel love when you're in this situation, or hatred in this situation. Now you might say, well, of course you recognize the stirrings of your heart. How can you ignore it? Well, we have these things called ideals, right? We have the Christian ideal of charity and love. You're supposed to love your neighbor. Well, why is it when I around my neighbor, I want to punch him in the face? No, I don't, actually. I actually do like my neighbors for the most part. Not all the time. But we have ideals, and ideals are sort of like, this is the way I wish things were always. This is the way I wish I was. Now, it seems nice to have this beautiful picture of our perfect self or our perfect life, but reality is not perfect. Or it is perfect, but it's not our ideal, right? Reality is reality. And sometimes we do feel hatred. Sometimes we do feel feelings that don't fit in with their ideals, whether it's the Christian ideal, the Muslim ideal, the Jewish ideal, whatever is your background, right? We have these things that are implanted, that I am supposed to love my mother. Not everyone loves their mother, we have different emotions. So what Hermann Hesse is saying in here, through his main character Klingsor, is you're on a good course when you actually honestly, consciously confess to what's really happening in your heart. But do not call any emotion petty, any emotion unworthy. So, back to the whole idea of ideals, where I'm supposed to love, I'm not supposed to hate. I'm supposed to be friendly and congenial, and say hello to everyone, and be helpful and altruistic, and not be angry or selfish. But what Hermann Hesse is saying is that there are no unworthy emotions. all emotions are worthy. So everyone is good. So every emotion is good. Very good. Even hatred, even envy, even jealousy, even cruelty. All we live on are our poor, lovely, glorious feelings, and each one we wrong is a star we have extinguished. So that's sort of the controversial part, right? Because we condemn hatred, cruelty, anger, particularly if you come from a Christian background, and we're trying to push our emotions towards the ideal, towards charity and benevolence and love. And of course, love it's the best feeling in the world, right? But sometimes we don't feel love. And when we try to force ourselves to feel love, now we're actually being dishonest. And then actually, when you try to force yourself to love when you really don't love, now you're being dishonest, which is a terrible sin in Christianity. Back to our ideals. But you're also making a mockery out of love, because the only love that's worth anything is the real love. My favorite philosopher, Alan Watts, from the 20th century, mid-20th century, he said, when you try to force your feelings through your head, because your head has these ideals, you're trying to make the tail wag the dog. Emotions and feelings spontaneously arise within you, and you need to honor those. And there are no wrong feelings, according to Alan Watts. In a future video, we could talk about, is there a difference between feelings and emotions? But I think for this video, we'll keep it simple. So I just wanted to share that all of your emotions are worthy. Don't call any of them unworthy. Even hatred, even envy, even jealousy, even cruelty, all we live on. It's the wind that fills your sail, right? Jealousy, anger, hatred can give you energy. If you deny it and you try to lie to yourself that actually I'm a loving, benevolent, altruistic being, you're going to cause more harm in the world than good. So, and this is another thing that Alan Watts, not Hermann Hesse, but Alan Watts, the philosopher, says, and I wholeheartedly agree, and I've seen this in my own life, is that it's not feelings of hatred that actually necessarily cause destruction in the world. It's unacknowledged feelings. So when you lie to yourself, when you don't confess to yourself the stirrings of your heart, you're basically pretending that you don't have that. You're sweeping those undesired emotions under the rug, and then that's when that can erupt and cause you to do things unconsciously that are destructive. There's a whole vast literature from Jung and Freud and other psychoanalysts that talk about all of the destruction that comes from sort of lying to ourselves and repressing actual truth of our inner state. So what Hermann Hesse is, and just I'll go ahead and summarize, is that all of your emotions are worthy. Don't deny any of them. Be honest with them. And if shook the table, because I was passionate, right? And as you embrace your emotions, the more your energy comes, the stronger you are, the better you are. And sometimes you will feel sad, and it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel angry. Now, you may not, and this is advice from Alan Watts, the philosopher, you may not want to always act on your emotions, even though I feel like punching my neighbor in the face. I'm not going to punch him in the face. I don't want to go to jail, right? But you do have to recognize and give your emotion credit. A little controversial because we have these ideals that we're supposed to be these, either the perfect Christian or the perfect progressive or the perfect neighbor or the perfect son or whatever. But we're human first and foremost. Before there was anything known about progressive thought or Christian thought or Muslim thought or anything, we're humans. And we live by our emotions. Look at a baby. They're honest with their emotions. They get sad, but they're honest about it. And then their sadness is gone, and they're on to happiness. They don't carry baggage. Because when you don't acknowledge your feelings and emotions, and you lie and you go, it's all still there. Now you're going to have to probably go, you're going to have a nervous breakdown. You're going to have to go to therapy. And you're going to end up acting up and not actually really enjoying the full range of human feeling and emotion, which makes life palpable, which makes life interesting. So that was that. I just wanted to share that from Hermann Hesse's Klingsor's Last Summer. If you like discussions about feelings and destiny, highly recommend him. He's sort of my all-time favorite author. I have new authors that have come into my life that I like, I'm crazy about now. But thought I'd share that. My name is Ryan Freeman. Hope you guys write something in the comments, like this video, and let me know what you think.